Sometimes we live life in the middle of a storm, left out in the open, exposed to the elements. No matter where we look, protection seems miles away. Shelter feels out of reach. Lately, these storms have grown stronger, more intense, more difficult to bear. Where do we look when we can't see the way forward? How do we find safe harbor? In the midst of the ebb and flow, God promises to be our refuge and our strength, our ever-present help in times of trouble. In our most desperate moments, we can rest safely behind the rock of our salvation, protected by the shadow of His wing. Yes, life has its troubles, but our God is a mighty fortress, our stronghold, our refuge.
God is our refuge in times of storms in life. He is our help in times of trouble. He is our strength in times of weakness. He is our solid, strong foundation in life. But the sad reality is, human as we are, we have moments of fear, especially when we experience storms in life, when we encounter trials in life. Sometimes we are afraid to move forward because we can't get over of the past. Sometimes we're afraid to look forward because we can't let go of the past mistakes that we have committed. And sometimes we question God's love because of the current struggles that we have in the present. Sometimes we get paralyzed with fear because of the uncertainties and all the insecurities that we are going to face about the future. And sometimes we place our fear in a wrong place, rather than to the one who can help us in whatever storms of life may come. I had a conversation with my co-workers, and they would ask me, "Hey Jeff, during meetings, every morning I would just come and I would say, hey, good morning. I'm so up high, and this morning, right? We meet every Tuesday, and every meeting I would make fun, I would make jolly jokes, and just to keep the energy high. And they would say, hey Jeff, you're always happy. It seems that you don't have any problems. And I said, no, I worry a lot. You just don't know. I have many fears. As an employee, I worry a lot because I'm afraid if I cannot meet the expectations of my boss. As a business owner, I'm afraid that the business will not work and I will lose money and bankrupt. As a husband, I worry that I'll fail my wife or can have a miscommunication with her. As a father, I worry a lot about the future of my kids. As a pastor, I worry a lot about the current standing of the church and the ministries and our goals and the future plans and our strategy, especially the people. I absorb all your problems. And I worry a lot, not for myself, but for you. Yeah, we had this conversation with Ron. How can we help them? How can we journey with them? And people may not notice, but deep inside, when I'm alone, when just the two of us, we cry out to God. We worry. We're afraid. We live in fear. And sometimes I desperately cry out and seek the help of God. But I have many reasons to smile, because I know who can help me when I need help. Who can help me with my worries. I know who I can call, who I can run to when I am afraid. I know who can provide me shelter during the storms of life. I know who can defend me against the attacks of the enemy. I can smile because I know who can fight for me in the fierce battles of life. I know who can deliver me during the trials of life. But the sad reality is many of us here are still struggling and afraid when we experience storms in life. Some of us here are afraid for condemnation. Some of us here are afraid of rejection. What if they will know this is what I did in the past? What if they will know this is who I really am? What if they will know that I'm not that competent? What if they will know that I did bad, crazy things in the past? We worry. Have this fear of condemnation, fear of rejection. We fear that people will judge us. We fear that we are not good enough for the task that they have given us. We fear of inadequacy. We fear of failing if we will start something. We fear of uncertainties, and we are insecure about the future. Many of us are still living in that state of life. We battle worries, and that's why we live a miserable life. The disciples of Jesus are not also exempted with fears. They are with Jesus. They were with Jesus. They walked with Jesus, like what I said. They ate with Jesus 24/7. They spent time with Jesus. They saw Jesus perform miracles after miracles. They saw Jesus make the lame walk. They saw Jesus raise the dead. They saw Jesus heal the sick. They saw Jesus cast out demons. They had moments of fear despite of all those experiences. After Jesus chose his disciples, he selected them one by one, and that is what we went through last week. And then Jesus started to do his ministry. Okay, I have the 12 disciples who will go with me throughout my earthly ministry. And then he started teaching. He started preaching. He started engaging people, healing people, saving people. And then he got into the boat in the Sea of Galilee. In the Sea of Galilee, it's like a bowl. And he sat down there because there's a large crowd following him. So what he did, there's a boat in the Sea of Galilee on the seashore. He sat there, and then in front of this crowd who are also sitting on the hillside. So while he was preaching, they shared with them the parables about the sower, the parables of the sower, the parables of the mustard seed, and all other parables. All day. That's what he's been doing that particular day. And then he got tired. He gathered his disciples on the side and he said, okay, these are the explanation of the parables I shared to these people. But I'm tired. Can we go to the other side of the lake? So that's where we're going to pick up the stories. And we'll see how these disciples experienced fear and how they converted or placed their faith in the one who conquers their fear. Let's go to Mark chapter 4. That evening, Jesus said to his disciples, let's cross to the other side. Now, these verses in verses 35 to 41 is full of information in the Gospel of Mark. Mark is the first Gospel that was written than the other four Gospels. But these are full of that evening, meaning Jesus already tired, speaking all day. And that evening, he said to his disciples, can we go across? So they are sitting in the Capernaum. That's where the people sitting on that hillside. And then Jesus was sitting on the boat, and he said, "Oh, now, you know what? I got so tired. I'm so tired. Can we just go to the other side?" They're going to Gergesa. And this town, this is where Jesus, when they arrived there, Jesus, a demon-possessed person with legions and many demons inside of his body, remember? He welcomed Jesus. That's the next chapter. But this is the last chapter. This is the last part of chapter 4. Jesus got tired, and he wants to go to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. Now, the Sea of Galilee is the lowest lake on the planet. Now, you have to understand, okay? This is the Edmonton. Edmonton, we are about 2,100 feet above sea level. This is sea level. And the Sea of Galilee is about 686 below sea level. Now, why I'm explaining this? Because I want you to understand that in that place, there are storms. They used to have and experience storms in this place. So this is the Edmonton, the sea level, and this is the Sea of Galilee. And then the Dead Sea also is another body of water that's about the lowest part of the earth. It's the lowest body of water on this globe. It's like 1,400 feet below sea level. So Jesus, he said, I'm tired. Let's go to the other side. Then he continued in verse 36. So they took Jesus in the boat. Okay, Jesus, as you said, let's go. And started out, leaving the crowds behind. Although other boats are joining them. So he would just want a break. He was tired from all day speaking engagement. So he went out, but of course you cannot um, uh, just tell people to not follow me. They would like to follow Jesus because they know Jesus will feed them, will perform miracles. Now the size of the Sea of Galilee is about 20 kilometers long and 13 kilometers wide. It's like a bowl. Now, try to imagine, Sylvan Lake is around 42 kilometers square kilometers. It's the Sea of Galilee is like a bowl. Sylvan Lake is like a bar. So you would probably be try to imagine that you will have 4 Sylvan Lakes. That's the Sea of Galilee. Okay, and they experience huge storm oftentimes there. Now, I remember something. On 2025, we will have an Israel tour. Okay? This church will host Israel tour. Now, you have 3 years to save. Okay? So you need probably around 4,000 to 5,000 per person. But you have 3 years. You start saving now, 100 every month. Right? That's about 3 years, 3,600 lang, no? 12,000, yeah, 3,600 every month. You pray na lang, you pray, no? But we will go together, okay? It's about 10 days Israel tour. So it's gonna be on 25th. So just a heads up for you. Wally and Gloria gave me that idea. But, so they obeyed Jesus. Jesus said, okay, I'm tired. Can we go to the boat? Okay, let's go to the boat. Can we go to the other side of the sea? Okay, let's go to the other side of the sea. Now, something happened. This is what happened. Because this lake is below sea level, the lowest lake in the globe. It's surrounded with valleys and mountains. Their geographical location is a perfect condition for a sudden, violent storm. A violent windstorm came up. So it was nighttime already. They're traveling to the other side. It would probably take them about 4 hours to 5 hours to get there. But they're in the middle of the Sea of Galilee, in the middle of the lake, and then there is a storm. Weather is very treacherous in this place. You didn't know, it was calm, and then suddenly there's a storm. The same with Edmonton. It's so cold in the morning, the noontime is so warm, and then the other thing, that's the same thing. It's so tricky. It's so deceptive. Now, the waves were hitting the boat and breaking into the boat so that it was quickly filling up. Now, there is this huge storm. And the Greek word that Mark used there, it's like a hurricane. It's like a huge storm that's hitting and battling and beating their boats. Can you imagine the thunderstorm? The rain, the waves hitting them. There was flooding and quickly filling up their boat. Now the disciples, there are, take note, 7 of the disciples are fishermen. And if you're a fisherman, you are a good swimmer, right? But they are in a panic mode. And then they can't understand, they didn't understand what's happening. It doesn't make sense, Jesus. You said, get in the boat, we get into the boat, we obey you. You said we go to the other side of the lake. We are on the way there. We obeyed you. But why these things are happening? We obeyed you, and these things we are experiencing storm in life. Sometimes we ask God, Lord, I did what you want me to do. I obeyed you. I obeyed my parents. I follow you. Why I'm still experiencing these problems? I love you, Lord. I'm doing everything in your ways, but why these things are happening today? Why am I experiencing this financial hardship? Why am I experiencing this physical sickness? Why am I experiencing this emotional breakdown? Why am I experiencing all these things in life when I am serving you faithfully? When I'm doing the things, I'm not doing anything illegal. Why people are persecuting me? Why I'm experiencing all these testings in life? I did and doing everything you want me to do, then why things are going this way? You probably asked the questions. The truth, folks, is this. Storms in life will come, even during the time that you obey and follow God faithfully. Following God doesn't mean everything is okay. They obeyed Jesus. Get into the boat. Go to the other side of the lake. Go to the other side. They're on the way. But Jesus is testing their faithfulness in Him. And whatever storms that you're going through in life today, Jesus is testing your faithfulness in Him. Whatever relationship problems you have in the family, whatever difficulties in your finances, Jesus is testing how you will respond to the situation. The overall goal of Jesus is to mold you to be the kind of person He wants you to be. So if you are experiencing troubles and storms in life, despite of your service to God, don't worry. Jesus is testing you. Jesus is testing how you will respond to the situation. Look at how the disciples responded. Of course, they're so afraid. There's a storm, a hurricane beating the waves and the winds, beating their boat. Although they are fishermen, most of them are fishermen, they are scared. But what they discovered was that Jesus was asleep. He was sleeping on the cushion. It's like a cloth. He just want to rest his head in the back of the boat. Jesus was tired for a long day. This is the part of the humanity of Jesus. And this is the only part of the Gospels, the 4 Gospels that mention that Jesus fall asleep. It shows that Jesus is really human. At the same time, He is God. And He must be very tired that He have slept through that violent storm. Can you imagine? Or I would have another theory that Jesus was just testing them. He's not really asleep. Sometimes I would test my son, Nico and Kale. I was like, they're falling asleep so that they will fall asleep. I'm testing them if how would they react, right? And Jesus probably doing that. He was like, I'm not really asleep, but we'll see how you will react to this storm. The disciples were in panic mode. And they woke Him up. They said, hey, Jesus, teacher, don't you care that we're going to die? So it's like chaos in the boat, inside the boat, waves here, hitting here, and the rain, and they're all wet because they're almost sinking. Jesus! 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 I'm so tired. Jesus! Don't you care that we're getting to die? Going to die? Bro, what are you doing? Help us. We're sinking. Come on. What's your problem, bro? The disciples was just so desperate and so irritated at the same time because Jesus was just sleeping and they are in panic mode already. You know what? Sometimes in life, when we encounter uncontrollable situations, we are in panic mode. And we yell to Jesus, Jesus, don't you care of the situation I'm in today? Don't you care that I need a husband? Don't you care I need a wife? Don't you care I'm still single forever? Don't you care that my marriage is now separating? Don't you care that I am now being drowned in debt and all the financial struggles I'm experiencing? Don't you care about the sickness that I'm experiencing in my body? Don't you care, Jesus? And sometimes we try. I believe they tried. The disciples, they tried to take the water out of the boat. But they had the last option. And it was Jesus. And sometimes in life, we tried our best. We only go to Jesus when we left with no options. When we encountered uncontrollable situation, we blame Jesus. We get to panic mode. We live in fear. Another thing here, they thought Jesus abandoned them. And in life, sometimes we have this kind of theology. when we experience hardship in life, when we experience storms in life, we think Jesus abandoned us. We sometimes believe in the lie that Jesus doesn't care. Never ever believe in that lie. The truth is, Jesus will never leave you. Jesus will never forsake you. Jesus cares for you. Whatever storms in life that you are experiencing, whatever uncontrollable situations that you are in today, Jesus cares. And He is in the boat with you. In this situation, they thought Jesus abandoned them, when the fact is, Jesus is in the boat with them. And sometimes we think, natutulog ba ang Diyos? In English, is God sleeping while I'm experiencing all these storms in life? We ask God, where are you, Lord, when I needed you most? Are you sleeping, God? Maybe that's what you are experiencing today. You are in the boat with Jesus and you feel like you were abandoned by Jesus. You are in the boat with Jesus and you feel like Jesus doesn't care about your situation. Jesus cares. As to His disciples, yes, they were in panic mode because they are in uncontrollable situation. But they didn't realize that Jesus is in the boat with them. The answer to their questions, the solution to their problem is just right beside them. And the truth is, Jesus will never abandon them. And when we face storms in life, never ever believe in the lie that Jesus abandons you. Jesus will never abandon the ship. Jesus will never abandon the boat. He is in the boat with you. While you face storms in life, He is with you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. He will never abandon you. And this is what Jesus said. He said, He got up and He rebuked the wind and said to the waves, shh, quiet. He was like sleeping. Jesus, don't you care? I think He's just testing. Jesus, come on, bro. What's your problem? Can't you see that we're problem? Shh. It was completely calm. Jesus rebuked the storm. Jesus spoke to the wind, and His creation listened to Him. That's how powerful Jesus is. Our sovereign Lord. Control the nature. Under control. Everything is under control. Everything is in His power. His creation immediately obeyed. So whatever intensity or strength of the storm that you are facing today, it's nothing compared to the power of Jesus. He can calm the storm. He is just testing you. How will you respond? How will you react to the situation? Remember that Jesus is with you in the boat, and He will never ever abandon you. After Jesus calmed the storm, after Jesus told the storm, hey, quiet, I'm sleeping. You're so noisy. And Jesus faced His disciples and He said to His disciples, why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith? After what I've done in your life, After I've saved you, after I fed you, after I provided for you, after I protected you, after everything I've done for your life, you would worry? You will still living in fear? Jesus rebuked them in the next chapters, chapter 7 in Mark, chapter 8, chapter 9. He said, hey, you of little faith. And I worry a lot. I have lots of fear as a person, as an individual. And Jesus would always remind me, and Jesus would always rebuke me. Hey, Jeff, come on, bro. I brought you here, I provided for you, and I've given you everything you need. What made you think I will not help you? And Jesus is telling you this very moment, He's telling you, hey, are you kidding me? Stop being afraid. Trust me. Have faith in Jesus. No matter how strong the storm you're facing in life, have faith in Jesus. This past months, I've been worrying a lot, and that causes me some sleepless night, and some of you knows about it, some of you don't know. But every time I spend time with Jesus, and I would with my daytime with Him, He would remind me, Jeff, I will never abandon ship. I will be with you. Then I always recite this phrase: what I worry the most is what I trust God the least. What I worry the most is what I trust God the least. And I'm worried about these things, and Lord, I think I have not trust you fully in this area. And then I would worry about in this area of my life, and then Jesus would rebuke me. Hey, I did not trust you in this area. And I would worry and decide that my part of my life, and probably that's what I did not trust you in this area. So I want to ask you this question: what area in your life that you trust God the least, or what area in your life that you are not trusting God? Maybe God is telling you now, hey, can you surrender that to me? And then this is what Jesus said. The disciples said, they were terrified and asked each other, who is this man? Even the wind and the waves obey him? They were like surprised, in awe of what happened. Moments ago, they were so scared, in panic, with the waves and the winds beating their boats, and they almost got drowned. And just this guy who just woke up and just talked to the storm, and it was completely calm. Who is this man? He's a Superman. He's not human. He's the Son of God. He talks to the nature. He conquered death. He resurrected from the dead. He raised the dead. He healed the sick. Who is this man? The imperfect disciples at that moment realized that they placed their fear in a wrong place. They placed their fear on the storm. But when they observed the situation where there is a storm and there is Jesus, and then Jesus calmed the storm. It was like, I was afraid with you, storm. But this time, they were terrified even more, because the person with them in the boat is greater than any storms that they can face in life. So, let me ask you this question. is Jesus for you? Have you ever thought He abandoned you? Is that Jesus for you? Have you ever thought that He has forsaken you? Is that Jesus for you? Have you ever thought that He doesn't care the current condition of life that you're facing? Have you ever thought that He doesn't care that you are inside that hurricane, that storm? Have you ever thought that He will not fight for you? That's a lie. In life, most of the time, we place our fear on the wrong place, on our troubles, on the storms of life, on the problems of life, when the right thing to do is to place our faith on the one who can solve our problems, who can give us solution to our problems, who can help us in our troubles, who can fight our battles, who can calm the storms of life. Why we will place our fear on the storms of life when we can put our faith in the one who can control the storm? Who is Jesus for you? Is He your last resort? When He is supposed to be your first option when you encounter the storm? Is He one in the emergency contacts when He is supposed to be our only lifeline? Who is Jesus for you? Now let me ask you this question. What area in your life are you experiencing storms today? Is it in the area of finances? You're just hopeless that your financial situation is hopeless. You know, too many bills. Maybe that's that area you need to surrender to God. Is it in the area of relationships? Relationships with your husband, relationship with your wife. Maybe that area is where you trust God the least. In the relationship with your kids, or your relationship with your parents, is there someone that you have not forgiven totally? Is there area in your life that you're experiencing storms today, like it's the emotional pain, the hurt, anxiety, depression? Is there area in your life that you can explain that you have this fear, deep fear and sadness in you, that you don't know where this is coming from and you're scared of what tomorrow may bring? Is there something in your past that you can let go, that you can forgive? Are you struggling in the present time with all the challenges? Or are you anxious about the future? What area in your life are you experiencing storms today? The truth is, whatever storms of life you are experiencing, whatever strength or intensity or level or magnitude, Jesus can calm that storm. Put your trust and faith